I'm Linda Elsegood, founder of the LDN Research Trust. It has been my honour to interview LDN researchers, prescribers, pharmacists and patients from around the world for many conditions. Thank you for joining us.
This evening I'm joined by Robert from the United States, who uses LDN for fibromyalgia, anxiety and major depressive disorder. Thank you for joining us, Robert.
Thank you.
So, could you tell us when your story started?
Well, I became very ill in July of 2015. I was lethargic. I had pins and needles feeling all over my body. I had edema in my legs and feet. I had no energy. I felt horrible. I had muscle fatigue and weakness. I was sleeping probably 13 to 15 hours a day. I was given blood tests and put on thyroid medication because my thyroid antibodies were high. The TSH was high. After a month, I was not feeling any better. I was told I was probably expected to feel better in 2 weeks. My doctor increased my levothyroxine to the next higher dose. I still wasn't feeling that great. January 2016, I found a spot on my chest. Because I was so ill, I was ready to hear a diagnosis of diabetes because it runs in my family, or even cancer. At the doctor's office, I asked him if he was going to take a biopsy. He said no, but he was going to treat the spot, along with running an antibodies test. When I asked why, he said he suspected lupus based on the lesion on my chest. The blood test returned and my ANA count from the test was 1 in 1280 heterogeneous pattern. That's indicative of lupus, drug-induced lupus, or Sjogren's syndrome. Other various blood work was way out of line at the time. I was in a lot of pain, and I felt horrible. I was unable to get to the referred rheumatologist for about 7 weeks. I got busy doing internet research on natural cures for lupus. That's when I found out about LDN. I asked my doctor for a prescription for LDN, and he said no. So I did an end run and ordered from one of the sources listed on the site for Naltrexone without a prescription. 14 days later, I made my first batch of LDN. It was a bit scary for me as I wondered, could I trust everything I read and was it real? Trust me, it is. My first dose was 3 milliliters on March 29, 2016. The very next morning, I got up to use the restroom and I walked fully upright and without much pain, something that I hadn't been able to do since January. I thought, no, this can't be real. I had an instant burst of energy and I felt better than I'd felt in months. That lasted about 3 days. I bumped up my dose from 3 milliliters in the evening and added an additional 1.5 milliliters the next morning to get up to 4.5. I later discovered that was too much too soon for me, so I cut back to 3 milliliters. I had read about the side effects could be insomnia and vivid dreams. I was fine with it since I was already having insomnia at the time, and I think dreams are kind of cool. I had no idea how amazing LDN dreams are. My experience of them is more like an epic dream novel. They were thematic and covered all aspects of my life. My dreams told me areas of my life that I needed to look at, either resolve those issues or make some major changes in my life. My dreams were a huge part of my emotional healing that 20 years of counseling had not touched. I had dumped so much baggage and felt physically lighter. Prior to my appointment at the rheumatologist, I did a lot of research on autoimmune disorders. None of the suggested diseases from the ANA test fit my symptoms. I came to the conclusion that most likely I had a diagnosis of fibromyalgia. Once I got to the rheumatologist, she confirmed my diagnosis and my self-appointed treatment plan, which included LDN. The only other thing she offered to add to my plan was yin yoga and exercise as I was able. She said I was doing everything right, my diet, everything was right, and I had the right attitude. I believe she wasn't fully sure of LDN dosing, but would follow up with me with 2 weeks of more blood test results. I had purchased the LDN book on Amazon and delivered it to her on our visit. 2 weeks later, she spoke with authority on my dosing of LDN, and she wrote a hard copy prescription for LDN compounding. She said it was a no-brainer to stay on LDN. The risk-reward is worth it, minimal downside, and great upside potential. The book does help educate doctors. I've been able to get off all medication prescribed to me over the last 2 decades. Since LDN, I went from hypothyroid to hyperthyroid and had to get off levothyroxine immediately. LDN kicked my thyroid awake, and it's working great now. The documentation on the site let me know that this was possible as a possible change. I believe that it's unheard of in any other situation except in LDN cases. One is usually on that for life, is what I found out. I was on a lot of medication for years. My only medication now is LDN, and I don't think of LDN as normally like other allopathic medication, but more of the homeopathic genre. As it seems, you can work yourself off of it at a time that the body does what it's supposed to do and heal itself. Another interesting thing has happened. At my last eye exam about a month ago, my eyesight has improved since my previous examination. I had to get new glasses since my current pair were too strong. The doctor took digital images of my eyes and said, you got no rips, you got no tears, you got no holes, you got no heart disease, you got no diabetes, all this stuff they can tell from a digital image of the eye. To me, it's fascinating. I've not counted, but I believe I had somewhere between 30 and 50 different lab tests done over the last 6 months. All of my blood work has come back in the normal range, all of it except my ANA count. Some of those tests came back high prior to LDN. After LDN, all my tests are right in the middle of the normal range. I'm scheduled to be tested for an ANA count again within 6 months and 1 year. I saw a YouTube video of a doctor who treated fibromyalgia patients with LDN and IV doses of alpha-lipoic acid. Somewhere in the 6 month to 1 year time frame, most if not all came back in the normal range for ANA tests. I now take alpha-lipoic acid in capsule form daily. My hope is my ANA count will return to normal range and all of my blood work will be good. As I began to really heal and come out of my shell, I got 2 unsolicited comments from 2 different individuals I have known for many years. One friend since my 20s. They don't know each other and they have no way to communicate with each other. Both told me in the same week they thought I was dying. I not only felt bad, I looked bad. I now frequently hear that I look great, including my dentist I've been seeing for years and who just told me how great I look because I saw him yesterday. I've been on LDN for about 4.5 months now, 4.5 months. I still have pain and I'm still healing, but my worst days on a scale of 1 to 10 were a 2 prior to LDN. 1 to me was death. Most days now for me are 6 to 8 with about a 70-80% reduction of symptoms. My biggest hurdle now is symptoms from benzodiazepine withdrawal, medication that was doctor prescribed for around 20 years. I still have a lot in front of me to overcome. It's not fun, but LDN has helped me in so many ways. I have an anxiety disorder that I've had since my 20s. This is not easy for me to do in an interview. However, our stories need to be told. It's worth the anxiety experience while doing this interview. LDN is an answer that works and can help so many. Doctors won't prescribe LDN because of the corporate policy. Well, that's just not a medical answer and it's not acceptable. It's become a moral issue for me. People are suffering needlessly and it's just wrong. I believe the original intent of the release of the internet to the public was to share information, sometimes life-changing information. LDN is a big internet success story when looked at in this light. I expect there to be headline news within the next decade that endorphins are the key to health, happiness, and longevity. I no longer feel I'll die from disease, but from the normal aging process that gives me much comfort. Others in my life have seen my turnaround and have also started LDN. Some with disease and some taking it to avoid disease. All but one have been pleased with the results. The one that stopped quit after the second night because of return of previous symptoms, something they were aware that could happen. They may take LDN again in the future, but for now, it's bad time to start. They got positive results. They stopped cold turkey and said it was not bad or good, only neutral. However, they did get insights into some life issues because of the LDN drinks. What I've seen is the people with disease may get dreams, and those who start with disease-free bodies have not told me they had any dreams. I just think it's interesting. I can't thank you enough for all you're doing to spread the word. Without your work on this site, I might not be here today.
What a wonderful story.
I was suicidal prior to LDN. I share the How Does LDN Work video with anyone who will listen. I believe everyone needs to know about LDN like we all know about aspirin. One may choose not to take your LDN after knowing about it, but they will be making an informed decision. I share my story to help those who follow. Without the stories of others, I wouldn't have the quality of life I enjoy today.
It's okay. Take your time.
I'm good. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. That's what's been going on for me. It's been an incredible journey. I think taking the choice to take LDN has been the most important decision I've ever made in my life.
And I'm very proud of you to be able to tell your story. It was a very inspirational, heartfelt story. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do you have LDN experience to share? If so, please email me, linda@ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you.